Welcome to the Mastering Business Skills podcast, where we interview successful small business owners who share their own journey, mastering the skills they needed to grow and be successful in their business. Learn the struggles, the wins, and all the things they learned along the way, so you can cut down on your own learning curve.
Welcome to Mastering Business Skills. Today we're talking to Pauleen Murphy, the founder of Politan Marketing and a fractional chief marketing officer with over 13 years of experience helping growing businesses scale through strategic marketing and efficient execution. Pauleen believes that cross-industry perspective brings fresh thinking and that scaling marketing operations should be clear, structured, and energizing for the business. Welcome to the show, Pauleen.
Thank you so much for having me,
Pauleen. We are excited today. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what inspired you to get into this line of work.
Sure. So I'm a fractional chief marketing officer. So I basically am part-time C-suite leadership for the marketing function. I oversee and develop the marketing strategy and then run all marketing operations for my clients. That typically involves overseeing a team to execute that strategy, and they might be internal, external. I love it. And I work with all different industries. And how I got into it, gosh, it fell into my lap, honestly. I started in the events world and was working at a flower shop while I started my events business. And I just kept offering my unsolicited advice of how they should be doing their marketing, and to the point where they were just like, why don't you do it for us and help us do it? And it just developed from there and scaled into what I do today as a chief marketing officer.
Nice. So do you have like other designers and things like that work on your team? So you're just basically heading everything up and then they're doing all of the tasks?
So I have two marketing assistants internally within my company that can provide support. But the manner in which like the marketing is executed is going to vary within each of my clients. Some of my clients have internal employees. Some of them have external vendors. Some of them use my marketing assistants to support. But more often than not, it's like an integration of all three formats. So yes, and I also do a lot of I'm able to support in the execution work as needed.
Oh, nice. And do you find that companies sometimes will bring you in to help with marketing when like maybe their current CMO is out on maternity leave or away for, an extended vacation or anything like that?
So actually, I'm typically not engaging with businesses at that stage. Usually, I am the first marketing leader that they're bringing into the company. My clients are usually like 1 to 20 million ARR. And I always say the owner is like founder led. They've been the grit entrepreneur their whole life. And they realize I cannot scale my business doing the same thing I've always been doing. I can't add more hours to my day. I need to do it in a different way. So they are transitioning from that grit entrepreneur to the visionary leader. And in order to do that, they need a leader under each function. I just so happen to be in the marketing function. Now, how I enter that business with my client, they might be in any place in the spectrum. They might like be having some rumblings of ideas of epiphanies that maybe they need to not be like on everything, micromanaging everything, running everything. They may be like so far down, they may be like fully visionary and like marketing's the last function they need to say. I've had them full range. So never am I usually replacing someone. It might be like, oh, we've been working with an external company that's just not like, we need more support. We need more like holistic support than that.
Right.
So yeah, that's usually the entry point.
Okay.
Sweet. So do you find, I'm just curious, is it hard for you to come in maybe and deal with someone who has been the entrepreneur, the only one doing everything, having to them having to kind of release and let you kind of take over and help. Has that ever been hard for them? Because I find that can be hard for a
It's
single
always hard. Well, and anyone who says that like business isn't emotional, no, it is 1,010% emotional, and more so because these are the grit entrepreneurs. These people built their business from the ground up. This is their baby. This is maybe more important than their child. Okay, this is their
right.
legacy, the thing that they've worked their entire life about and are deeply passionate about, and to let go of this is across any function, but to let go of a significant component of the business and not make those, um, it's not even that they're not making the day-to-day decisions. They're also not necessarily making those bigger strategic decisions. They're influencing the full vision of the business, but how that's played out. That's a huge leap, a huge emotional leap for them to take. And then it's just going to depend on the personality type, where they're at in that like realization of the transition they need to make as the leader of the business. That's going to impact how difficult or challenging it is. And there's certainly, I think, like great like resources and systems out there that can support making that journey easier. But the baseline that it comes down to is, am I, as the owner of the business, as the creator of this entity, willing to make the next step? Because Jeff Bezos isn't checking email copy before it goes out. He's on a yacht
Right.
somewhere drinking cocktails. So
Right. Right.
And
Absolutely.
how about AI? Do you find that plays a part in anything you do, or is a plus or a minus in any way with your clients or how you're working?
yeah, I use AI every day. I think
Yeah.
broadly it's a huge plus. There's definitely like security barriers we need to be aware of and like using them properly. I think the biggest challenge is making sure like team at large is like trained and there's like an established um, process for how we're going to use AI so that um, none of our like secrets or information are being
Yeah.
exposed. But other than that, I think it's a huge asset and can really help to streamline things. And I think um, further emphasizes the need for what I find some friction sometimes with companies is they really want to focus on like the action and the results and not work on maybe some of the foundational efforts that can really help to speed up getting everything else done later. That is like amplified times 1,000. Like if we get like the brand voice down perfect, if we have our positioning statements, our messaging, like all of that stuff can be pushed into AI, and then your team at large can like create email copy, create website copy. Like all of these things can be done in such a reduced speed, and we can better leverage resources.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that because I feel like, and I was slow to take on AI in the first place. Like I was kind of like, I'm just sit back and wait and see how this goes. And it's like, okay, it's not going away. So then I started getting into it. But I feel the same way. Like if you use it the right way and you're not using it for everything
Right.
or taking, just whatever it spits out at face value. And it was actually funny because we joke around with one of my clients. I was telling her I have outside of my other businesses, I have a pet and farm sitting business. And Sharon knows this actually because I sent this to Sharon. So I was creating a new logo and I was let me see what AI comes up with. So I put in like what I was looking for and it spit back out because the name of the company is Guardians of the Fur. So it spit back out this
Oh
logo
my
and
gosh.
I was like, this is really cool, except that like the dog has three eyes. So I sent it to Sharon. So, and I was like, hey, can you like fix this for me so it doesn't look like an alien dog and all this. And so she fixes it and she sends it back to me. And my granddaughters are 2 and 3 years old and or almost 2 and 3. And so my son, the first thing he said when he looked at it, he was like, is that the Paw Patrol logo on? And I said to Sharon, I was like, until he said that, it did not even occur to me. And then I looked at Paw Patrol and I looked at that and I was like, I'm keeping it. Like it's only the background noise. It's like that Paw Patrol badge. And I was
That's
like,
hilarious.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was totally a like AI experiment to see what it would spit out. And yeah, it was really funny overall.
I think as long as you're also, as far as AI, if you're training your AI to come in your brand voice and in your voice, not just some random, I think that makes a big difference too on how people are using AI.
Oh, yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, there are system and methods, I think under all functions, but definitely in the marketing function of we
Yeah.
need the foundational resources set up properly so that now we can like run and go fast with AI and get
Right.
things done.
Right.
Yeah, and a another great marketer in the fractional space that I connect with on LinkedIn, she did a post and talked about how we need to look at AI as a sandwich. We're the bread as the human beings, and the everything in between is AI. We need to be the top of the bread and put in all of the right information so that
Yeah.
AI can put out the meat, and then the end bread we got to go back, edit, and triage and make sure everything is just so. And that's when we have a great sandwich, when we have all of those elements together.
That's great. I read an article this morning, in fact, on LinkedIn, about how AI is not going to be replacing humans, but humans with the AI knowledge are going to be the ones that get ahead in business. And I think that was a very kind of enlightening way to look at it. And I thought that's very true because if you don't build and know the foundations, you can't really go forward and be
Mhm.
successful. So yeah. So we talk about mastering business skills a lot. So what is one skill that you've mastered that you can share with our audience now? And maybe what's the one master or the skill that you want to master in the future?
Yeah, yeah. The word master in and of itself, I'm like, are we ever a master? I feel like there's always
Learn.
something to learn, and maybe I'm a master at learning. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah,
But
I feel like I
yeah.
resonate with that.
Yep.
I would say, um, I feel like this is really broad, but I would say organization at large. I think having systems and organization and being able to package things in a way so that things can run is really something like I've been mastering since I was a child. And my form of play was like taking an accounting like ledger and like making like fun like charts with it and stuff. So I when I sometimes come into these companies, they're doing all of these marketing activities, and things are just disjointed, taking too long, and having good organizational systems and me being able to go in and triage and say, oh, this is like exactly how like the Trello board's going to flow so that we can get things done quicker. That is something I think I've close to mastered over time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure in your position you have to have massive organization skills.
Yes.
So is there anything you want to master next? It can be business, personal.
Um, gosh, I really, that is a great question. I don't know that I have a specific thing. I am always open to learning, and I just want to absorb things like a sponge. So I think I'm kind of wherever the wind takes me, of if like I keep absorbing like the same thing and I feel like I need to master that, I'm going to. But this year more than ever, I've been in on a journey of like improvement, mastery of like my personal self. And it's not really one thing. It's sort of the atomic habit method of a lot of little things that now I'm in September of the year and have already seen like a tremendous impact in multiple areas of my life. So I think it's more that of like working on the small things so that the big picture feels the impact.
Yeah, that's smart. I think a lot of us are doing that nowadays. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
myself. I've done the same thing this year. So yeah.
I love it. Congrats.
Thanks.
It's a great book
It's
too.
been a journey. I'll put it that way.
That is a great book. Yes.
Yep. Yep. My daughter got me that a couple years back for Christmas. It was one of my gifts, and I was like, that is a really good book. And it does break it down because I feel like for me, like I just started doing Marie Forleo's Time Genius because I was like, okay, I just need a handle on time in general.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, I'm just kind of like, okay, the little things like the delegating, like even though with like Sharon and I have spent a career getting other people to delegate, for us, we're like delegating is like what? Like
Yes.
it's really
It's hard to let go.
My capacity's tapped.
Yeah.
like we know how to do it. We know what to do.
But we're also the best at it. So
Yeah, exactly.
All
Exactly.
the excuses that everyone else uses for not
of course.
delegating. We're like, but yeah. I would say do as we say, not as we do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I used to tell my kids that.
Because they'll always call you out when you tell them something and then they're like, well,
Yeah.
you did.
But, we do that with our clients too. It's like, okay, well, why didn't you do that?
I
So,
know. I just said to Sharon the other day, when I was looking at my emails, there were so many emails in there, and I said, when I was a new VA like 20 years ago, I would be like, I'd start working with people and be like, I don't understand how like people don't have a handle on their email and like how they have so many unread emails that would drive me crazy and how like why are there so much still in the inbox? And then I said to her, and I was looking at my email the other day going, no, I get it now.
Yep, yep.
I was like, I was young and naive then, and now I'm like, nope, okay, I got it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So, Pauline, tell us what's next for your business.
I this year, as I mentioned before, I'm kind of like on a journey. And one of the things that I wanted to do, and this is Erin, how you and I met, is I wanted to do one networking engagement a day. And that has yielded so many um, qualitative results in my business and honestly, like myself too, just because I feel like such a power behind the work I do more than I've ever felt before. And it's also had like a quantitative impact on my business, which is, I mean, let's be honest, that was kind of the goal.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And I think more so like enjoyed the qualitative part and see opportunity into doing that more and not being so in my business, but also working on my business, which I have lacked that significantly. And this is the first year, like I really made a huge, tremendous effort. So what's next for me is finding that balance because because of those efforts, I did get an amazing new client and just the nature of my business, like new client a year is like, that's a really good year.
Yeah.
Just because I am part-time leadership, I'm working with them every day, and that takes I only have so many hours in the day.
Right.
So my next steps are really, working on putting my business in a position so I can, also continue to do those things because I felt really powerful. It felt really powerful, and I feel so passionate at large about the fractional space and how it can help these businesses grow. And I feel really strongly about education for businesses, that this space exists and can support them. I think it's really well known in big markets and businesses that are tapped into the online space. But I think by and large, I'm in Rochester, New York, which is like a mid-market city. I don't think it's really like widely known here. And I think there's a ton of businesses that can grow and scale and make a tremendous impact if they knew, like, I don't have to wait until my business is this big to bring in this leadership and have organization and have systems that run and help me scale properly. Like, I can do this a lot sooner. It's just in a little bit of a different way.
Yeah, I love that because
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like so many of us struggle for so long when we start our businesses on, I have to do it all myself. I
Right.
have to
Yep.
do it alone. It's, you got your tiny budget and you're like, oh, what should I pay for? And what shouldn't I? And
Yep.
what can I do that's going to save me money when we don't really think about in the long run that it's not actually saving us money because it's
Right.
taking more time for us to figure it out rather
Yeah.
than paying somebody who already knows it less money than it's costing us to spend our time learning
Yeah.
it to just get it done for us. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, the next steps for me really are really that balance of being able to do both, and I want to do more in the like connecting with fractionals and educating businesses on this opportunity. So what that looks like, I'm not sure. I feel like I haven't had a lot of time lately to explore that fully, but getting to that place is like really where I see things headed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
That is great.
And yeah, I did a lot more networking this year too. Just not as much networking groups, but intros. Like,
Yeah,
people introing me that like, and those to me seemed even better than the groups where it was
100%.
people who are connecting directly through LinkedIn or being introduced through somebody else that I trusted already. There's so much better than just that, like going in those groups and being like, oh, I do this and getting
Yep.
the let me pick your brain calls.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I did it. I did about like 100 and like 70 so far, and I would say probably like
Wow.
140 of them were one-on-ones, and those were just by and large the absolute best. I mean, yeah, once in a while you're gonna get a dud here and there, but like it maybe was like 3% of all of the interactions that I did. And I just have learned so much about like my business and how I can show up. And gosh, that those conversations can never happen in a group setting. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
once in a blue
Yeah.
moon. But just gosh, I felt like I had like a private business coach all year just doing one-on-ones.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even as an introvert, I find especially one-on-ones, I do a little bit better with that than I do in a group. I just, in a group, I'm the one that's in the back of the room, quiet,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
listening. So yeah, the one-on-one, at least I've done better this year than I normally do that myself. So yeah, Erin's helped me a lot with that.
Let's see. We had
Well, and the
to
other
do
thing,
it slowly.
Yeah, very slowly.
there's something too about like with the group ones, I usually am more doing those in person. There's something so efficient about, okay, I just wrapped up this project. Okay, now I'm gonna hop on this one-on-one for 30 minutes and then I can get back to it. I don't have to drive or
Yeah.
you don't know if I've, washed my hair today or not. So we can just like be efficient and get things done.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I joke with a couple of my clients because they're like, oh, well, you look nice and everything today. And then I'm like, yeah, but from the bottom half down, I'm still in shorts or pajamas or, whatever. It's like,
It's the Zoom mullet.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah,
Yep.
I love the Zoom meetings so much better than going live anywhere anymore.
Yeah, I actually did that yesterday. I had a Zoom meeting with Sharon, and in the morning I was like, But Sharon wouldn't care if I show up on Zoom in my pajamas, but I probably should get dressed.
But you can wear pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
Totally.
Works quite well unless I have to stand up during.
Then you just, turn your camera off.
I try not to get up and readjust in my chair or anything like that. But yeah.
Yep. Well, Pauleen, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. And we are going to put your links in the show notes as well. So we're going to drop your website in there, your portfolio, so everybody can see your amazing work, and your LinkedIn so that people can reach out and connect and get those one-on-ones scheduled with you too.
Yep.
So
yeah, and I try to share some fun. Yeah, I try to share some fun stuff on LinkedIn too. I have not been as great recently, but it's just kind of my unsolicited business thoughts that I kind of dump into posts. And so just come say hi and join the conversation and tell me I'm wrong in the comments.
Healthy conversation is awesome.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much again. And to everybody listening, we hope that you tune in again next week for our next episode. And we had such a great time, Pauleen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauleen.